Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers on this July the 4th, and we have a very special way to celebrate it. Ray Hagar has the rundown.
And happy birthday to the USA. Today's July 4th, and our guest is Clay Jenkinson, presidential historian. We'll talk about subjects ranging from flag burning to Theodore Roosevelt. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Mary Lau, Paul Mozen, and Scott Craigie. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
Nevada Newsmakers is sponsored in part by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And on this July 4th, as we're taping this program, we welcome to the program our presidential historian, Clay Jenkinson. Always a pleasure to have you here.
I'm always glad to be here, Sam. How are things?
Things are good, although a little crazy. Let's talk about flag burning as an issue that's come up to distract us all from the war in Iraq. In an editorial, Tom Mitchell was quoting Richard Bryan, and he was talking about there is enormous political pressure from folks who are sincere, wonderful, patriotic Americans. Though he still finds the act of flag burning distasteful and odious, he pointed out that the courts have declared it an act of free speech. The founders never thought liberties were bestowed by government. Quite the opposite. The Constitution was written to rein in the power of government and preserve to the people their natural rights. Are our senators so craven they are willing to desecrate the ideals of Jefferson and Madison? Take it away, Clay.
Well, I don't know that it desecrates the ideals of Jefferson and Madison to burn a flag. You know, as you know, people who care about flags get very upset when they're badly handled and when they're burned or used inappropriately. I remember from my childhood when people displayed flags wrongly, they were often rebuked by people who knew the protocol on flags. So I certainly understand it. But the fact is that the Founding Fathers, men like Jefferson, burned flags, British flags. They burned effigies of George III. They tore down the British Empire. Rebellion is the founding energy of American life. And it's not really, for me, a First Amendment issue. It's an issue about the freedom to be rebellious, to be obnoxious, to tell your country or your government that you find its behavior offensive. And it's designed to offend, and it does offend. But I think that we're a great enough country that we can absorb a little rebellion of this sort. No one's killed, no blood is let. It's a pretty harmless act, except insofar as it's symbolically offensive to people who care about the flag, and particularly the veterans.
Well, you know, there's tremendous irony here that I learned the other day, which is that there's an official way of getting rid of old and damaged flags, and the recommended method, according to the code, is by burning.
Well, perhaps before I burn the flag in the streets of Washington, D.C., I should say that I'm retiring it.
That probably would be a good way to go.
Yeah, but in that case, there's a issue of respect about the flag. It's not burned in protest. It's burned as giving it its proper burial as a symbol of America and America's freedom.
Well, you know, listen, I love this country. I love our flag. I just think that, you know, we have a free speech issue here, and I think that people should have the right to, if they choose to burn a flag, they're not burning this country. But I certainly understand there are very heated feelings on the other side of this issue, and everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Clay, let's change the subject for 1 minute, please. This summer in the Reno Chautauqua, you will debate Frank Mullen. You will be Teddy Roosevelt. He will be financier J.P. Morgan. Could you tell us a little bit about that Chautauqua debate? What are the issues that will be framed by it?
Well, there are two sets of issues, Ray. One is the personal issue. Roosevelt was a very powerful New Yorker, and so was J.P. Morgan. And in some sense, they both thought they ran the country. And Morgan felt that big business was the best entity to decide how the country should develop, particularly economically. And he was appalled when this upstart, Theodore Roosevelt, began to challenge the workings of corporate capitalism at the turn of the last century. So part of it was personal between them. And when Roosevelt went off to Africa on a year-long safari after leaving the presidency, Morgan said, "Wall Street expects every lion to do its duty." So there was a personal antagonism between them. The larger issue of this Chautauqua between Frank Mullen as Morgan and myself as Theodore Roosevelt is, what is the nature of a modern industrial culture? What's government's role in restraining the economy, preventing excesses, providing a safety net for the poor, deciding under what conditions international trade or interstate trade can occur? And this was a really interesting set of historical developments. You know, who's in charge? And today, with the globalization movement, we're facing somewhat of the same issue. Can the national government of the United States in any way regulate transnational corporations? This is one of the bedeviling issues that the Founding Fathers could not have anticipated, and so the Constitution is silent on these questions, and it has made the evolution of modern economic life very difficult for government to understand it or to handle in any significant way.
Well, you know, and that brings to mind what's going on right now, which is that the Chinese government, through one of their oil companies, their largest oil company, is trying to buy Unocal and has offered $2 billion more than Chevron has offered for that company. And to me, that's a very frightening situation when you look down the road as far as oil and natural gas is concerned.
Boy, I sure agree with you. You know, I heard the other night someone saying that if everyone in China has an automobile, the planet will die. But he went farther and said if every neighborhood in China has an automobile, there will not be any oil for anybody else. This is probably part of our strategic future on resources. And here's a situation in which free trade, the idea that if a corporation wants to sell itself to the Chinese, probably that simply can't be permitted under these circumstances.
Let's take a break, Clay. We'll come back with more with Clay Jenkinson right after this time out on Nevada Newsmakers.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof.
Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org. The National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're joined again by Clay Jenkinson, our presidential historian.
Clay, if we could get back to Teddy Roosevelt for 1 minute, please. Teddy Roosevelt became the president when President McKinley was shot. And do you think Teddy Roosevelt would have had a difficult time ascending to the presidency without this assassination? It seems like he was such a fireball and a progressive. And being a Republican, do you think he could have secured a nomination without the assassination?
Well, he was an accidental president. McKinley was shot on September 6, 1901. Mark Hanna, who was the big boss of the Republican Party, had warned against making Theodore Roosevelt the vice president. He said, now there's only one life between that madman and the presidential office. And then when the assassin shot McKinley, Mark Hanna said, look, I told you so. Now that damned cowboy is the president of the United States. So there's some question about whether a man is a maverick like Roosevelt, a man of such ego like Roosevelt, and somebody who had sort of bullied over his political opponents could have made it all the way to the presidential chair by the normal process. Once he got there, he absolutely made the most of it. He was destined for greatness. When he came out of North Dakota in 1886, having sort of recreated his personality and his body out on the plains of Dakota, he was going on to some sort of national greatness. And the astonishing thing is how many people predicted that he would be president 10, even 15 years before he became president.
You know, during the late 1800s and all into the 20th century, not only McKinley was shot, but it seemed like there was like an anarchist movement across the world that tried to murder a lot of national leaders. What was the dynamics of this? Why was it so dangerous to be a national leader during the late 1800s?
Well, that is a good question. Part of it is that people were beginning to be more prominent and more visible, these leaders, and there were anarchists in the world, as there are today, or lone gunmen like Lee Harvey Oswald. And at that time, the Secret Service systems, the protection systems, weren't very good. Roosevelt used to walk around Washington, D.C. without protection. His wife, Edith, was scared throughout his entire presidency that he would be assassinated. And he said, you can't stop an assassin. An assassin can trade his life for yours, but there's really no stopping him. And, of course, we all know that in the campaign of 1912, the Bull Moose campaign, Roosevelt was shot on October 14th, 1912, in Milwaukee. Luckily, he had a glasses case, a spectacles case, and his speech wadded up in his pocket so that the bullet didn't kill him. But this was just a part of the era. These things kind of go in fads or waves. And what happened was that the Secret Service of the United States and other countries were beefed up after this so that they could at least reasonably protect presidents from this sort of thing. But as we know, in our lifetime, my lifetime, 2 presidents have been shot, and Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford barely missed being shot themselves.
Let's talk about another Roosevelt. There was a fascinating HBO movie, actually, it wasn't a documentary, on Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who suffered from polio. And the story was based on his therapy center. But he became president and one of the longest serving presidents, despite the fact that he basically could not walk. Do you ever see a time when this country would be able to elect a person who had that kind of disability to be the president of the United States and to be re-elected so many times? Obviously, he wouldn't be able to serve for 16 years, but...
Great question, Sam. Yeah, I don't know, because I saw that special, too, and I have to say, I cried through most of it.
Oh, it was amazing.
So beautiful. Just unbelievably sympathetic, the sense of compassion for this man and the compassion that he gained from his disability. I don't think Roosevelt would have been nearly, this is Franklin, nearly as good a president if it hadn't been for his polio. It was just magisterial, this film, and I share your respect for it. I think we've lost ground. I think today it would be very difficult for a disabled person to be the president of the United States. You know, the current president is a very vigorous man. He's a Texas cowboy, or at least a rancher. I think the country likes these cowboys. Ronald Reagan was seen riding a horse. People like Jimmy Carter, who are more soft, more bookish, are frequently regarded as inefficient presidents. There's something about manliness and vigor and ruggedness that we still like, so we really belong more to the Theodore Roosevelt than the Franklin Roosevelt model for the presidency. And remember that one of FDR's greatnesses was that he always appeared so happy and vigorous. He's the happy warrior who loved political fighting, and he made sure that the media understood that that was his essential personality, whatever was the case with his legs. So I doubt it. I think we are closer to a woman president and closer to an African-American president than to a disabled one.
But your point is well made, because he was rather a jerk when he was a younger man, and then once he went through this process with the polio, it just was revolutionary. If you get a chance to watch this HBO movie, it really is remarkable. Clay, happy 4th of July to you, my friend. We always appreciate you being on the program, and we'll talk to you very soon here on Nevada Newsmakers. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Clay. God bless America.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
When making your decision as where to play golf, consider the resort at Red Hawk. You know you have made the right choice the moment you arrive. The friendly staff welcomes you to our award-winning pro shop. You know you've made the right decision on the first tee. The Lakes course is in the best condition in years. You know you've made the right choice after you've played 18 holes. The resort at Red Hawk, the right choice.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? They do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers here on this July 4th show. We're joined by our pundits, Marlene and Lockard with Capital Strategies. Dr. Paul Mozen is here. We've got Randi Thompson, our political analyst, and, of course, Scott Craigie. There was a poll came out last week, a Magellan poll, that John Smith wrote about, rather humorously, I might say, that shows that that Jim Gibbons still has a huge lead, despite gaffes that have been made over this past year. Even in a Gibbons-Goodman race, it shows that Gibbons would have 48.1 to 36.9 advantage.
How many people did he poll?
1,000 people.
Oh, well, that's a good.
When you take the mayor out of it, Dina Titus certainly comes up in the numbers dramatically, but not Speaker Perkins. There are a couple of comments that John made that I'd like to put in here. He said, put it this way, scientists have spotted more life on Mars than in Perkins' gubernatorial bid. We're talking fossilized microbe level readings here. Perkins has plenty of friends in high places. What he doesn't seem to have is a pulse.
Or a personality.
We're talking about more than a year before the election.
Yeah.
At this point, these polls mean absolutely nothing. They're just a measure of whose name has been heard more by the public. Now, I don't know who the 1,000 people they polled are. Maybe they were all people from Gibbons' campaign. I don't know.
Well, I doubt Perkins is going to get a personality in the next year, so that's not going to change.
Gibbons or Perkins?
Perkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you're going to see a serious primary election campaign take place, and I'm supporting Senator Dina Titus, and I think you'll see a campaign run on issues and programs and initiatives, and personalities may come into it, but I know that Dina is going to run on the issues, and she has plenty to say, and she's going to have a very positive agenda to put forth. So once a campaign starts and begins, then we'll begin to take a look at some of those numbers. But like Paul said, it's way too early at this stage.
I think one of the messages that go out here is remember Chick Hecht.
Yeah.
Nobody had, certainly in northern Nevada, had ever heard of him, and he never spoke. His campaign was billboards and great TV commercials, and the campaign has not yet begun on Speaker Perkins' behalf, so I don't want to count him out of the race.
But those were the days when an all-media campaign was still working. There's been a real transformation in politics, and there's all different ways now to reach voters and for candidates to really have to emerge and have to discuss issues. In that campaign, it was just all media, all the time, all TV.
Did you miss the presidential election?
I don't think that. Oh, come on, Sam. I don't think that that's
was that about issues?
It's about Swift Boat veterans.
No, it wasn't about issues. But
the state that the man who was trying to shove Yucca Mountain down our throat, the state went for him. So I don't know what's going on in the elections.
This Nevada, this state, right now is facing so many critical issues on the issue of growth, on the issue of moving water from northern Nevada to southern Nevada, on the issue of what are we going to do with K-12, good Lord, what are we going to do with full-day kindergarten, can we afford it? We've got Tabor that's going to go on the ballot, we've got Prop 13 that's going to go on the ballot, we're going to run the state by ballot. We're going to run the state by elections. We have more issues.
Oh, Mr. Initiative petition here talking
and we're going to run people out of Nevada like they ran them out of California.
That's right. What I'm saying is this will be an issues election. If
I absolutely
ever
agree, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it because I think then when you get all of the proposed candidates standing up there, they're not going to be able to run and hide and pull a Chick Hecht. It will be about issues.
When is your candidate going to come forth with some positions on some of the issues? When's the debate going to begin?
When she announces, which you'll be hearing more about that directly.
And we hope on this very program. Let's change topics here. Something that's happened in the last week just frightens the heck out of me, and it doesn't seem to be a big discussion topic because I don't think people really understand what happened. But China has, through one of their oil companies, has bid for Unocal, and they bid $2 billion more than Chevron had put up as a bid. And obviously they are trying to grab as much oil and natural gas as they can. And when they can come in and do this, and it's free trade at this point, but shouldn't that have us all concerned, Scott?
Well, welcome to the United States of Europe. I mean, the fact of the matter is this is the way other countries have felt about the United States for decades. And the fact is, as well, China is the next growing economic power. That's... my son and I had a conversation. I said,
the United States of Asia.
Learn how to speak a foreign language. That's very important.
And you had the price of oils are now over $60, and that, I mean, you're going to start seeing at the pump not only higher prices but less availability unless we get refining back in America. And that's
you have only to look at the price of oil to figure out who's in control of the world.
Yeah. I think this is a national security issue, and I think the United States should step in and treat it as such. And I think this is one high-profile development among many of many things emerging and losing control of our own destiny to Asia and to other countries. I think this is a very ominous development, and the United States should step in and do something.
Well, it's scary. They're going to be importing our oil, and they're going to be exporting their Asian flu, which Mort Zuckerman has a great editorial in this week's U.S. News and World Report about no one's really paying attention to that avian flu and the potential for a pandemic. And it's just one of those underlying currents there that Asia is not exactly taking care of its own country, but they sure have the resources and the money to keep building and building and building. It's just scary.
On a lighter note, I would like to offer hearty congratulations to our own Randi Thompson, who was elected to the airport authority.
And Washoe County.
Yeah.
Congratulations from all of us. And now you can't talk about any of those issues.
I know.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Like that. Stop.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Play over 480 of the hottest slots and video poker games. Enjoy hot times and sizzling food specials at Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. Watch your favorite game on one of our jumbo high-definition plasma TVs. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. Or sample the best hot and cold sandwiches in the Whistle Stop Deli. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway. Yeah.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
The next show, Carol Villardo. We'll see you then.